And we're live. Welcome back, folks, to the Wildlands campaign. So, whatever else is going on in your busy life, whatever challenges you've had throughout the day, take a moment and breathe in that swampy air. It's humid and thick with the smell of mud and moss and frogs, because one sound effect that I don't have playing is the susurrus of constant frog croaking sounds that swells all around you as you guys are making ready for sleep here in the witch's hut of the Mud Witch. Last time, and hey, Taladar in chat. Last time, you fought a terrible demon that had been sent by some evil folk that have a reason to hate you, and also a reason to have a hold over this demon. You fought Terag, son of Onesiphorus, and rescued the Frog Talker and her froggy friends. It was a terrible battle. The demon summoned this pig-like, gigantic, bestial demon, summoned these winged creatures, these things like vultures, and they did a dance which summoned a point of terrible white light that grew and would have exploded outward, dealing a tremendous amount of damage to all concerned, but was interrupted in the first place by Bref running into it, which was an epic moment, and absorbing the damage into his body and making them start their dance over. And then later by you guys striking down the vulture-like demons and preventing them from their power, and eventually winning the combat and sending them all packing. You looted some coin and several items. You're carrying a number of unidentified items at the moment, actually. But you pulled yourselves out of this skull pit and followed the Frog Talker back to her home, which, no surprise, is surrounded by frogs of all descriptions and sizes. Not on the map are some more of those very large frogs that gave you a bit of trouble in your journeys, just looming over trees and the hut alike. Now, while just talking to the Frog Talker, you learned quite a number of vital pieces of information. Shadir is going to be key. The brother of Akiri, he's going to be key in this final confrontation, according to the seer. And he is actually going to be staying with her here in order to study and be ready when the time comes. She said something about shifting battlefields and how Shadir would be the one to enable that or control that. She also spoke to Bella, and Bella learned some dark facts, dark and distressing. Kirsten is having to run back and forth between the kids, so I don't know how much of this she's heard.
I'm here for now.
Okay, for now. Let me know if you have to leave. Okay. Just interrupt me if you need to go, because the frog talker explained about the dream frog, her little friend that she gave to Bella. And she said when you meet the dream snake of the third eye, it must consume this little friend. And only the dream snake of the third eye can eat a curse so strong it holds the singer. And the singer must be free to save the wildlands we love. Which perhaps you remember, or perhaps you have a note about it, but that links up with some of the things that Quee Fitzywell was saying. Some of the clear instruction that he was giving you. Okay. Any questions?
No, not yet.
All right. So the frog talker has offered, you may bed down here if you wish. Yes, this is my cot, but you may take the floor or sleep outside if you prefer. I am going to sleep in my bed for the first time in a while. I am looking forward to it. Sweet dreams. And with a wave of her hand, the fire leaps up in the fireplace. And she will curl up with a bunch of ribbiting frogs, gently ribbiting a croaking lullaby as she drifts off to sleep herself. What about you guys?
Vapos is going to want to talk to Shadir for a minute.
Sure. He is at the moment standing in front of the fire, kind of brushing his feathers. His curly feathers have picked up a lot of mud and blood from the battle, and he's kind of gazing into the fire thoughtfully when you approach him.
Shadir, do you have a moment? I was hoping that I might be able to get your help with something.
He says, yes, of course, Vapos. What can I do?
Well...
Should we step outside?
I don't know that that's necessary. I just wanted to ask, do you happen to have any magic that could help you with identifying objects without having to attune to the magic yourself?
Let me check my spellbook. I think I have a ritual like that, if it would help. Something
immensely helpful, yes.
Something I found in Oose's library under the roots of the main tree. I have, it's called the Identify spell.
Innate. Yes, well, I'll be honest, I've been holding on to these since the battle with my master, and I haven't really been sure what to do with them, but I think that perhaps it's time for me to figure out precisely what they can do. And I'm just going to hold out the bracers and the orb that Jakas was carrying.
He says, more than happy to do so, Vapos. Um, he glances over, and the Mud Witch is already snoring loudly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to disturb her. So he takes the stuff into a corner of the witch's hut, and he begins the ritual. He pours out a bit of stuff from his water skin. He doesn't. He's casting a ritual, so he doesn't need the material components, but he goes through the motions as if he were mixing up a cup of wine, and using a feather, and he reaches out for what do you want to do first?
I'd like to start with the bracers, if that's all right.
Okay. I think I got partway through making this card, actually. Let me double check. I don't think I finished. Come to think of it. 1 second. Let me see. Vapos magic items. Did I actually make this card? No. There you guys go on the stream. You can see how far I didn't get. I got as far as putting the art on the card. Okay, so I'm gonna double check what these do, but they are Vapos. These are, yeah. His eyes kind of glow as he stares down and mimes drinking from the cup. Oh man, can't find anything in my notes document lately. Okay, it's all right. I know exactly what these do. These, here we go. Oh no, they're bracers of the mantis shrimp. Correction.
Okay.
They grant. So, yes, you must attune to these bracers of the mantis shrimp. And if you do, they grant you great prowess when attacking with your hands. With your hands or arms. And it so mechanically, Jakas's bracers of the mantis shrimp grant a +3 to attack using hands.
Oh wow. Okay.
They enable great precision when striking. He'll take another 10 minutes, ritually cast, get into the state. What would you like me to do next?
The other item I wanted was this orb.
Jakas's orb of flowing storms. His eyes glow. Yes, I see. The one that holds his orb gains access to, oh wow, a bunch of useful spells. You can cast the following spells while holding the orb and tapping into ki. Why did it... That was weird. Nope, that's not what I meant. Yeah. Control weather is one.
Okay.
Which is a pretty strong spell. Lightning bolt. Call lightning. And sleet storm.
Wow. So mechanically, I'm assuming once per day on each of those, and then, or is it based on?
So, if you are not... Basically, Jakas was special and was able to use it multiple times.
Okay.
You have to be connected to flow in order to do that. However, each of those can be used once per day at a cost of 1 key point.
Okay. And I'm assuming this requires attunement as well?
This does not require attunement.
Oh, crack. Okay.
You just have to spend ki.
All right. That's crazy.
Shadir, wait, there's more.
Okay.
Shadir leans forward. But there may be a consequence to using this orb. If you use it too often, there's a curse that can take effect where it starts draining your ki, your life force, without you willing it to occur.
I see. That is a rather dangerous effect.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's all. Well, that's it for that item.
Okay. There is one more thing, and I'm not sure if it'll actually give a reading. These items have been strange in my experience, but if you could provide any insight, it would be helpful.
I think I've got one more in me before bed.
I appreciate that. I'm sorry to overwork you like this. And
that's all right. We're going to be parted for some time after this, so I don't want to miss the opportunity to help out.
I appreciate that. And with some reluctance, Vapos is going to hand him the shadow dagger.
Shadir reacts as if it burns him. Wait, sorry, which one?
The one that, or I'm gonna give him the one that Jakas was carrying.
Okay. He reacts with trepidation because it's such an odd-looking object. He says, he turns it over in his talons and says, "Is this a dagger made of bone?"
Yes, if I understand correctly, it's made from the bones of a shadow dragon.
I see.
It's twin, and I'll pull out the one that I have as well. It seems to have the power to banish things, but before Jakas and I had our falling out, he told me that I would need to master both in order to solve a problem.
Akiri perception check. Please. Akiri? Yes. Ooh.
Oh no.
Nothing.
Akiri, why don't you notice anything?
She's sleepy.
Yeah, she's nesting. She's kind of watching her brother, perhaps feeling a little melancholy, and just kind of nesting up in a corner.
Yep.
Cool. The Mud Witch actually has like a sort of a wicker swing or hammock in one corner, which is sort of perfect for Akiri to kind of nest in. So you're probably just drifting off.
Yeah.
Okay. Shadir is a little uncomfortable, but he starts the ritual. He mixes the wine that isn't there with the feather that he doesn't need. He mimes drinking it. His eyes glow. He holds the tooth. This is a tooth of the Shadow Dragon dagger. It is an object of great potency and danger. I think it can cut the border between worlds. Between planes.
Vapos' eyes will definitely go wide at that.
I think that's what it's meant to do. It at first, when one begins using it, at first it banishes creatures back to their home plane. But much like all planar connected objects, it has a particular harmonic within it, which shifts over time. I think after the third or fourth creature that it banishes, it gets more and more attuned, more and more harmonic with the plane of its origin, its own origin. And I think it can cut open a way to that. He shivers. What is that? He's staring at the dagger. in his talons, his eyes glowing brighter. But there's something weird happening with them, because even as they turn brighter, there's a dark shadow beginning to swirl in his all whitish blue eyes. What is happening? He says. His hands are trembling.
Seeing this, I think that Vapos is going to try to take the dagger back.
Okay, he's offering no resistance.
Okay.
You snatch the dagger, and everyone will, in earshot is going to notice that he's blinking and tearing up, and the glow isn't going away right away, like before when the spell ended, right? It just went away. This time it's like coming out as like tears. There's this liquid, glowing liquid is weeping from his eyes, and he's rubbing his face. Oh, who was that?
I'm so sorry. Are you all right?
Some of the frogs gather around. Ribbit. They're hopping on him. Yeah. Who was that? I'm okay now.
I didn't see anyone.
Okay. You're holding the dagger in your hand at the moment?
I am.
Okay. You feel a cold radiate out from the dagger.
Does it feel like the same cold that the other dagger has started to emanate?
Similar. Yeah, similar in that it's the same kind of cold, but it fades rather than continuing. And then, within moments, like when you touch an object, it kind of warms to your hand, right?
Yeah.
The dagger you've been using, which you've used 4 times, by the way, it doesn't warm to the touch anymore. The one that you just took from Shadir, it was cold, which it shouldn't have been, right? Unnaturally cold. But then that fades after a moment. It kind of had a flash of cold. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. And then Shadir goes, Who was that? Who was that? And meanwhile, he's wiping the glowing stuff from his eyes.
I don't know what you saw precisely, but based on what I know about the origin of these daggers, it's possible that it might have been one of the Dark Six.
It's not what I saw, but what I heard. Someone said something in a creepy voice. He called me his son, but I don't think it was my dad.
Vapos is going to look very sad about this, and is just going to say, "Oh no, I fear I may have exposed you to something, and through that ritual may have garnered its attention."
That sounds bad.
I don't think it's... I don't know that it's bad in the way that you're thinking. It's... I'll be honest, I'm not entirely... Excuse me, Bella? Bella, could you come over here for a moment?
Sure.
Shadir kind of gets up. He gets up and he goes to the wicker swing where Akiri is, and he shakes you awake.
Yeah. Hey.
He says, Akiri, his eyes are kind of wide, and he's kind of slumped. He's kind of tense, and then he kind of slumps. And you recognize Akiri immediately that he's back in that dark cave, chained with his dead friend.
Um,
You know,
she's
mentally.
she's gonna pull him close in a hug. Say,
Okay.
what happened?
Uh, there was a dagger.
So sorry. This is my fault. I asked him to identify this dagger, and he saw an entity that started calling him its son. And
Well, that sounds terribly familiar.
right, which is why I was hoping that you might be able to lend your expertise, Bella, because I've never really heard its voice.
Right. Well, shoot. Um, I hope that you never hear from him again, Shadir. But if you do, don't listen to him or do anything he says. Um, it might be the shadow. And he wound up getting sort of stuck to me a while ago. I didn't really understand what I was dealing with at the time. And he will offer you great power and great boons in order to tempt you into doing his bidding. But it's not worth it. Um, it's never worth it. Everyone I know who's ever been involved with the Shadow has regretted it and wanted to get out from under his sway. So just be careful. Be alert for that voice again. And if you do hear it, ignore it.
I, okay. Okay.
It's all right. He won't hurt you. Not. I don't think he'll hurt you without you getting more involved with him. But that's the one thing that you must not do.
All right. I won't talk to him. Oh, Gary, it's just like when I was halfway in the stronghold of the scarred earth.
Um, the Kiri's gonna nod and like pull him into the nest chair with her.
Okay. He'll gladly curl up with you there.
I'm so sorry. If I had known that something like this could happen, I never would have asked this of you.
It's okay. It's okay, Vapos. You didn't know, right?
I did not. I promise.
Really, really, you guys, I really want you to be careful. It's been a really exciting adventure, but I think I'm gonna like it here with the frogs. Yeah. I think I'm gonna like it here with the frogs.
Kiri's gonna nod and kind of like nuzzle into him a little bit.
That was some good Hot chocolate mud. He's going to start drifting off to sleep. It's late now. And he's kind of exhausted.
I think after that, Vapos is just going to be quiet and go to sleep feeling absolutely terrible.
Sanity loss.
Yep.
Okay. So you all, I'm assuming that you all lay out your bedrolls. Is anyone sleeping outside of the hut? Because it's a little cramped and warm in there.
Yeah, Vapos will.
Okay, Vapos is going to sleep outside. I guess the rest of you are...
Much like the frog talker, I've been asleep during this entire exchange.
Okay.
I'll sleep outside to make some more room for people.
Bref is zonked out. All right. So Bella moves outside. And where are you sleeping, Bella? Looks like Vapos is sitting up against the wall or something.
I'll sleep over there.
All right.
Near the water.
All right. You can hear the water bubbling and there's a deafening noise of frogs until late into the night, but perhaps that merely acts as a white noise to lull you to sleep eventually. And you all enter slumber. Bella, you begin to dream almost as soon as you close your eyes.
Sweet.
As you slip into the dream realm, as always, you find yourself on your knees, weeping, you know not exactly why, surrounded by a vast field of stars, on a platform made of colored sheets of glass. This time, Bella, that presence that you feel out there in the dark seems close, closer than ever. What would you like to do?
I'd like to pull out the dream frog.
You reach into your breast pocket. The frog, spectral in the real world, the material plane, is more solid and present in the dream realm. And it hops up onto your shoulder. And when it does so, you feel more able to stand up and move about. What direction would you like to go? Seeking this presence that way? Okay.
I think so.
All right, go ahead and move yourself over there. Okay. With the aid of the dream frog, you're able to look off in that direction. It's still a dream, and you can't turn your head to see all around you as you would in the material plane. But in this eerie moonlight, you are able at last to look along one of the pathways leading from this platform. And you see what looks like maybe a tentacle or a worm's tail. And then you realize, no. Under these wrappings, like silken dream stuff, there are scales. You're looking at a swaying pathway through the void, full of stars. And it's a giant snake's tail.
I'd like to try to walk across the snake toward its mouth.
Well, I don't quite understand you. You want to walk this direction? Okay, that's the tail, right? Is that clear?
Right.
This is the tip of the tail.
Yes, yeah, I can tell.
Okay.
I want to try and walk along the snake's body, like a bridge.
Yeah. So you step out onto it, and it's strangely yielding this dream stuff. And you can feel the firmness of the snake's body underneath as you make it out there. And you realize you're only going to be able to go so far if you continue in this initial direction. And as you turn to look elsewhere, the frog croaks, and you wake up.
Damn.
Would you guys like to do anything else at the hut of the frog talker? Or are you moving out? Here's the daytime.
I can't really think of anything else.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that at this point we really want to hustle and get to that meeting, right?
Yeah. Apris is definitely apologizing to Shadir one more time in the morning, but then he's ready to go.
Okay. Well, Shadir is going to gladly accept it and just tell you to take care of yourself and use the daggers sparingly. That's the advice he gives.
Yeah, Vapos will definitely take that under advisement.
That's a funny phrasing. There's an emotional goodbye. He says, Akiri, sister, I think it's up to us. I think it truly is our fate to save everyone.
He nods. Says, yeah, I think it is too. I don't know how I feel about that.
He says,
Exciting.
make sure to use your frog. He whispers into the frog in his ear.
He nods and grins and whispers into it on her end. Okay, I will.
Okay. Now there's a giant housefly in here all of a sudden. Okay, guys. Well, the frog talker bids you adieu as well and says, off you go to save the world, dearies. She shakes her head as she goes back in her hut. I hope those tadpoles figure out what they're doing. So, what are you guys doing once you get your packs strapped up and in order? You are currently in a swamp. You can see distantly mountains to both the east and the west of you. Although you're currently in a sort of a low wetlands between these mountain ranges.
Is it like mountains all around us except like behind us? Just more swamp.
You don't really see too many mountains ahead of you. There's more swamp. There's fog and mist.
I don't remember for where we are exactly. I think it's like 18.
I believe we're on 1812.
1812. All right. But yeah, we're just heading north for the next couple days.
So you guys set off to the north.
Yep.
All right. Well, you have to lead your horses through these swampy lowlands. So the horses aren't going to be particularly helpful here. Fortunately, this terrain isn't quite as challenging as some of the swampy terrain you've been through earlier. And you may have started to get a little used to it, even if you are very tired of trudging through the muck. It will be a challenging trek, but not incredibly challenging, at least in the beginning. How will you guys try to travel safely through the humid swampland?
I think Vapos learned a lot from their race up north with the larger frog that was guiding them to the frog talker, and will range ahead of the party again. This time not just to keep line of sight with something that's going crazy fast, but just to basically scout for easier passageways and ways to make things, or to, stay on what counts as dry land in this area.
All right.
And avoid some of the deeper bogs.
All right, so he's going to be testing it out in person.
Yep.
Actually, I'm just realizing that there are 4 of you now. Well, I guess technically you have Maver and the horses. All right. Okay, so what kind of skill check are you saying that is?
I'm thinking athletics.
Okay, yeah. Go for it.
Oops, ignore the +3. But that's an 18.
Okay. You get an 18, which is a successful attempt. So as you guys travel through the morning here, you are going to benefit from Vapos. So Vapos, are you kind of like running ahead and then running back?
Essentially, yeah, like going
Okay.
ahead, testing various paths and stuff, finding the right one, then coming back to relay that information to the rest of the group.
All right. You will succeed, and the party will benefit from Vapos's advice. You know, this looks like solid ground, but really it isn't. Or over there's a drier spot. If you go around this murky pond and things of that nature, making your pathway northward somewhat easier. Yes, I shouldn't actually have deleted one of... No, that's fine. It's fine. Who else is going to jump in?
I will play a rollicking tune on my harp.
Okay. Well, the rollicking tune drowns out the noise of the bugs all around as they make their merry noises in the steaming swamp. So go ahead and make a roll as well. And Vapos, well, both of you have 3 temp HP that you get.
Oh.
Oof.
Well, that's only a 13.
Lousy rolls on that roll. So that will put a fail up on the board, but you do still get the 3 temp HP. Who else wants to help out?
I would like to sorry, Akiri would like to scout ahead a little bit if possible, just like keep an eye on everything up from the air and try to also help make sure that we keep on the general direction of the north as best as you can through this
Go ahead.
horrible quagmire.
Go ahead and make your roll.
Could I possibly get a survival roll?
Instead of perception?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, sure. That is a success.
Well then.
Go ahead with a 27. That is so high. Go ahead and make a D100 roll for me. Cool. All right. So with your keen eyes, you are going to... You are paying close attention. And you are going to notice something off in the distance. You're going to notice, as you're traveling through the swamp, a lookout tower and some large crumbling stone structures to the northwest. And there is movement large enough to be seen at a great distance, which you are a great distance away, on the top of this tower that looks down over the swamp that your party will, within a few hours, be traveling in.
Lovely, wonderful, fantastic. Akira's gonna go tell you.
Okay. With a 27 survival, that's not all you get. You always tell me that you fly low, right?
Mm-hmm.
So flying low, you are actually going to spot some large footprints, kind of in some dried mud, as of a number of enormous people, must have left in the swamp. So your high wisdom is telling you that's like possibly some kind of patrol or scouting party.
That's no bueno.
Or hunting party or something like that.
Okay.
Most likely. Okay, so you fly back and you inform everyone. So Akiri comes flying up breathless, and she says,
So, there's probably giants up ahead to the northwest. I don't think we'll have any problems with them, but it definitely looks like they also send out, like, hunting parties or raiding parties or, like, I don't know, big groups, or groups of, they're big, so it wouldn't be small. Anyways, should they send out parties, definitely, because I keep seeing big footprints. So let's just be careful and give them a very wide berth.
That was some excellent scouting.
She nods, looking very pleased with herself.
Yes, nice work. We'll definitely want to be very careful.
okay. You get 3 temp HP, Akiri. So, am I to understand that you guys are going to turn from the straight northward path and head more to the east in order to kind of loop farther away from the tower that Akiri noticed and the tracks that she noticed, and kind of hope that the distance combined with the mist and steam of the swamp will hide you from any prying eyes? Can you hear me?
I mean,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
we could. Do we wanna?
I mean, my opinion is that it's kind of your decision, Akiri, because, I mean, you know when we need to get to the Sword Wings, and...
Mm-hmm. If we keep going dead north, we'll be fine. We'll probably be okay, honestly, because they're to the northwest of us, and we just need to keep going north anyways.
So are you
She's
making
gonna
a
say
big...
that to everyone? Like, I mean, we need to keep going north. Anyways, we don't need to go northwest yet, so we can keep avoiding them if we have to. Which is probably smart.
Right, then we'll just keep an eye out for any patrols that they might be sending this way.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
The nice thing about giants is they're not very sneaky.
That's very true.
Watch us find an entire party of giant rogues.
So yeah, let's keep going straight, and just be careful.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, you haven't. Who's going to try and help you guys travel safely? Unfortunately, the sound of the swamp and is not being drowned out by Bella's music this time. So your ears are constantly assaulted by the buzzing and the chirping and the birds suddenly crying out as you pass. Who else is going to jump in to help? Or what else are you going to do?
Well, I know that traveling in the swamp can be pretty exhausting, especially for our horses. And so I'm going to step up, maybe take a little bit more of the load. And when I see them faltering and stepping in some of that unstable, swampy terrain, I'll do my best to pull them out and just make sure that they are able to continue horsing along just fine.
So a handle animal? Is that what you're going for?
Yeah. It's not my best skill, but I don't know what else to do, so.
Okay.
I want these horses to be okay.
I mean, that's important. The horses are one of the main factors raising the difficulty here. A very nice success.
Nice.
Okay. So you are going to succeed. Very nicely. And in the go ahead and roll a D100 for me.
That's
Okay.
either very good or very bad.
So one of the horses at one point gets scared by a loud animal running through the undergrowth. A small wild boar, which goes running off, and the horse runs in the opposite direction, kind of breaking the free of the line that you have them tied to. And when you go and retrieve it, Breath, and you coax the animal back, you're able to look around, and you notice this obelisk rising from the muck and slime. It's white, marble, and beautiful. There's a platform on the side of this obelisk for offerings. And it is otherwise unmarked.
Any remains of other offerings that I see?
Actually, where in a place where every surface, including your body, is covered in moss, the offerings slab is strangely clean and bright white.
I'm gonna look through my pack. This is an unusual find. Let's see. That's something. I'm going to take. I still have them with me. I'm going to take out the pair of earrings that I got from the tower, the Druid's tower. I'm going to lay them in the offering bundle.
Whoa. That's a callback. Okay. Interesting. When you do that, from out of the white obelisk, a set of black canine jaws, large enough to bite your head, come out spectrally from the white marble, snap up the earrings, and vanish.
Thank you for not eating me instead.
Breath. You feel a warmth in your chest. And glancing down, you see that over your left breast, a black dog shape has appeared. And you sense you can call upon it. When desired. You have received a blessing.
Neat.
So you can
Best
write.
earring trade I've ever made.
You can write Blessing of the Black Dog on your character sheet. Fortunately, night is falling. Just as the rest of the party, or just as the party is starting to see the stone constructions to the northwest, which presumably means that someone up there might have the chance of seeing you as well. In the mists and amongst the loud animal sounds, you guys are able to make camp for the night on a dry spot. With all your horses, which honestly I wasn't expecting them to survive these swamps very well, but they did all right under your care. It's wet And it's warm for now, though it may turn cold later. You can see lights kindling in the far-off distance. Would you like to light a fire of your own this evening?
Would advise against it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's plenty warm enough.
Okay. Oh, I should have said that while staying at the hut of the Mud Witch, you all regained 2 hit dice. You also refreshed your spells, your daily abilities, and your hit points. So you gained all those benefits of a long rest. And you also regained 2 hit dice. However, here in the wet swamp this evening, which I should update the calendar actually. It's damp. It turns very uncomfortable in the midst of the night. It would be very difficult to find a good camping spot, so you're probably going to end up waking up in a puddle. So it is you're not able to stay dry, basically. So it is going to be an uncomfortable night. You will not regain any hit dice this evening. This long rest.
Oh, it's better than getting ambushed by giants.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Okay. It is now the 11th of Zhurk. You guys wake up the next day. You're still in the swamp. You are now ringed about by mountains, except back the way you've come. In the thick fog of the early morning, you cannot currently see the watchtower or large stone constructions amongst the forested mountain range to the northwest. But you sense that they are still there. What now?
Just as a point of bookkeeping, I am going to unattune my scale silk wrappings and attune to the bracers of the mantis shrimp.
Okay. Wow. That's pretty significant.
Yeah.
You're giving up a lot there. That's the item you started with too.
Yep.
And upgraded. All right. Excuse me. Okay. So that evening, so you're going to spend an hour with that, meditating with that.
Yeah.
You stow the scale silk wrappings, slip on the bracers, and you guys, the rest of you are now going to see Vapo sporting the bracers. They're kind of large for him. They're kind of oversized, but that just adds to the weight of his blows, no doubt. Yeah, as the ones that his master wore. All right, you've got some badass brass shrimps. What now, guys? You gonna break camp?
I guess so.
Okay. After make sure to mark off your rations, guys. Actually, you're not carrying, is anyone carrying any special rations? Please speak now. Or are you just all using regular ones? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I actually should have had you do this last time, but you Yeah, go ahead and actually no, there's no need. Okay. You sniff your rations and you can tell that any more time in the swamp and they're likely going to start spoiling. Fortunately, I'm assuming you are planning to get out of the swamp here.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
So what direction are you going?
North.
You head to the north. Okay. So as you travel, you're still trudging through muck and water, and finding the occasional dry spot in the first part of the morning here. But you are heading toward foothills. You remember seeing them when the mists were thinner. Who wants to jump in and help you guys travel safely? You've lost the. You've lost the temp HP that you had the previous day.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll do my own standby, a performance check.
All right, you start playing music.
Well, I'm
An
so glad I have
impressively
advantage on
high.
this roll. That's a 19.
Okay. So, here's the thing, Bella. You play just loud enough that your friends can hear, but it's not carrying a great distance over the swamp, which is pretty tough to do on a bagpipes. Or, I guess you were playing a harp, aren't you?
Yeah, a harp I think is much easier to not be very loud on.
A carrying harp as you walk along. You're strumming it. So you give you and your companions just enough hustle that by the time the morning mists clear, you are getting in toward the foothills, and you're hopefully less exposed to the watchtower amongst the mountains. It's starting to go behind a shoulder of the mountain that it's on, thickly covered in trees. So you might be masked from anyone watching up there by the time you give your friends just enough hustle to do that. So go ahead and take your 3 temp HP. Who else is jumping in?
You know what? Kiri's.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Kiri's gonna once again scout ahead. Just trying to keep track of which paths go where, and just so she can like direct the rest of the group in the correct direction and like through the right crossroads to keep going in the direction they need to, even through
All right.
mountains.
Cool.
Could I possibly ask for a survival roll again?
Yeah. It's a new day. It's a new stretch of travel. Is that a 15?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you will actually... So this is the borderline between the swamp and the mountains here, right where it suddenly rises up from the low wetlands into foothills and then mountains. And this is a bit tricky terrain to negotiate. So what happens is you find some old roads, and that is good for the horses as they scramble up into the forested mountains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But unfortunately, Akiri, you kind of make the wrong guess as to which of these old roads you should follow. And you end up leading everyone into a kind of a dead end, a box canyon, where it's like swamp and then like 3 walls of very difficult to climb cliff around it. And so you guys have to turn around and go back and then pick another path. So unfortunately, that is it's barely a fail, but
that sucks.
Yeah.
Stupid. All right. Vapos, do better than my attempt.
Yeah, so Vapos, given that, I think Vapos is going to basically have Akiri focus more on paying better attention to the broader picture of where these paths are going, and let him worry about the specifics of the terrain. Like, as long as she can give the correct direction of making sure that we're getting to where we need to go, he can make sure that the party picks the best path. And so when we get into that box canyon like that, he will actually climb up to the top of it in order to try to find like the easiest way so that we don't have to fully backtrack and just find like another route that can get up to where we need to go.
Going for athletics again?
I was actually thinking more acrobatics, because this is more climbing and less like running back and forth.
That makes total sense. Yeah. So you're going to climb into an unlikely stone promontory to get another angle on things, while Akiri is worrying about the party. Sure.
That is a 17.
So he just barely succeeds.
Woo!
Really, really narrow margins there for both of you. So you don't forget, you still get your temp HP, 3 temp HP, Akiri.
Thank you.
And so does Vapos. So you guys are up in these forested mountains now. You're kind of leaving the damp behind. Everything's still very green. But it's getting rockier in places. And these thickly forested mountains are pretty tall. You are actually getting up into the Cloud Summit peaks again. And as you're climbing up there, we need one more success to make this journey safely.
Let me think. I suppose. You know what? It worked so well last time. I still have it out for the. Not have it out. That sounds very negative. I still have a soft spot for these horses, and I'm just gonna go them through this rough, rocky terrain. One wrong hoof plant could break a leg, and that would be no good. So I'm just gonna take a little extra care and make sure these horses are getting along fine.
Okay. So more handle animal. Okay.
No. Horse.
Yeah, this time it's not so successful. And from your position up on the rocks, Vapos, you're going to see the horses stray away from the old roads that are through these mountains and get into a nasty spot. And one of them slips and almost goes lame before Breath can catch it. All right, it's the make or break. So one of you could go again.
Maver can do something?
Maver can do something if you want, although, yeah.
I was thinking she could just...
Either way.
She likes to keep an eye out. She likes to keep watch for danger. I was thinking just a perception check for her.
All right. Good
but
old
if someone
solid.
else has something burning in their pocket, I'd be happy to let them do that instead.
Go for it. What do your dwarf eyes see?
Breath, you get 6 temp HP. A very nice perception roll from Mavra. So that will put a third success up onto the board.
The heck was that sound effect?
Whoa. Why did it? Oh, I hit the wrong button and it did a random sound effect. Oops. But actually, that sound effect isn't crazy. Well, it is crazy, but it isn't wrong. Because Mavra spots... what was that earlier D100 roll? Mavra spots some weird crystals growing out of the side of the mountain. And she notices that they are moving. Oh, hey, Taladar. Thanks for listening. And Mavra suggests in her quiet way, maybe we should take another path, guys. And you do. And that proves to be the right move when off in the distance you see the crystals, the large purplish crystals, sprout legs and go running off through the woods in the over the shoulder of the mountain. Congratulations, another hex navigated. When you make camp this evening, you are up in the mountains. There is clearly an inherent set of dangers around these parts. But you are not necessarily under the direct view of anything. And you will be able to make your camp in a drier spot. Although I will say, probably by this time, your characters would be pretty sick of camping in general. You're out of the wet, which is great. But you are probably... it's been a long time since you guys were in the comfort of... the relative comfort of the treetop village of Akiri's homeland. Or even the the shack of the frog talker, because that was several days ago now. Do you guys want to light a fire this evening?
Do we?
We are still pretty close to those giants. I think one thing that Vapos will do though is now that we're out of the muck and awful fetid swamp water, he's going to use shape water to try to clean everybody's clothes a little bit and try to get everybody not smelling quite as nasty as what that swamp would have done.
That will definitely help. There'll still be a certain stank that will cling to everyone. Over, a certain swamp stink, I think. But you are up in the colder mountains now, and colder than the swamp certainly, and the air is going to slowly air everything out after you dry them out. Okay, cool. So is that's no fire tonight? All right. You guys have been doing watches, by the way. I just recently made a few sessions ago, I made the decision, like, I'm not going to have you roll for watches unless I feel the need. Or I guess I had you guys all roll at once one time, didn't I? But we're just going to move on here. You watch, and through the watches of the night, you're going to hear noises. You're going to hear noises of animals. You're going to hear heavy footsteps, but they are across. They're on. How in the mountains, if you're kind of on two sides of a ravine, you can be close to each other, but actually very far apart because there's a big valley in between you. So you hear someone on the next mountain over, and very heavy tread around about midnight of the night when the lost one is way over on one side of the sky and the shadows are long, so you can't see who is making these heavy footfalls. But you definitely hear them as they walk over some rocks. It's as loud as walking over gravel, but sounds like somebody big. Or heavy-footed, at least. It's also worth noting that when the night is darkest, after the wandering moon has set, there is a lingering light coming from the northwest. Similar to moonlight, but more green in hue. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Did I just delete that? Did it hang? Are you guys still seeing 6 papers?
Yeah.
Yep, but one of them, or the first check mark, is gone.
So I have the rollable table set up, and it wigged out when I changed it to blank. It disappeared for me.
Weird.
But we haven't had a crash this game so far. I mean, I guess I just jinxed it, but
About to say.
I really think that updating OBS, I did a forced update of OBS. I went to the website and I re-downloaded it.
Oh.
I think that friggin' fixed it. I reinstalled OBS basically. I think that friggin' fixed it.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm just real happy about that. Okay. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. You didn't see anything. Okay. So now what? You wake up the next day. The dawn has, faded out any of that sort of greenish light that you saw. You look over, and Bella is still asleep. Bella,
Oops.
you're caught in the grip of another dream.
Alrighty.
Bella, as ever, you sleeping are in this vast void of stars on a multicolored platform of glass sheets. You're weeping, though you know not why. You don't think you're sad, but you feel as though you've felt something or seen or heard something beautiful and terrible beyond words. Glancing quickly around, you can see that the snake's tail is still revealed to you. And I purposely haven't described these other pathways, but there are other pathways. In fact, there seem to be approximately 4 of them floating through the void with you. The dream frog is going to hop up on your shoulder again, and you're going to feel able to move about, even as the presence, far distantly, seems to get closer.
Alright. I assume that I'm supposed to pick the direction I want to start running in?
If you'd like, yes. Very well. You focus in that direction, and in this dream space, you can't really turn your head, but as you focus in here, you begin to realize that it's another pathway formed of a snake's tail. This one, rather than being shrouded in silks or something of that nature, is covered with snails. Giant snails crawling up and down it. The snails are angled such that you could walk across them as well, perhaps, or climb them at least, on their big, swirling, smooth shells. There's also something directly to the east that looks feathery. Within leaping distance of the tip of the snake tail.
I'll try to head to that.
Okay. You run across the tail. Go ahead and move yourself. Sorry. There you go. You jump. You jump.
Yep.
Okay. Making your leap of faith, you land on, you're not quite sure. It's either a banner or an angel's wing. And there's this giant coin, this giant gold coin that almost seems half there, up ahead. And Bella, you realize that when you dream again, that this will all remain revealed to you. But that coin, which seems to have a design of some kind inscribed upon it or stamped on it, is glowing brighter and brighter. And you blink open your eyes and realize that the sun is shining down into the mountain gully where you guys made your camp last night. And you wake up.
Okay.
Let's see if the stream remains live as we do this. Zoop. Amazing. We're still live and going strong, baby. So you guys, the waking people. Wait, am I still? Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you react to seeing Bella sleeping late?
Honestly,
Yeah, I did it.
How do you react when her legs kick out? As if she's jumping in her sleep.
that
I
must
think
be
at
a
that point,
crazy
Vaphos
dream.
would probably gently try to wake her.
Okay. So you gently try to wake her and she doesn't respond.
Vaphos, is Bella okay?
It doesn't seem like she's waking up. I'm gonna, like, check to see if, like, she's got a fever or anything like that.
No.
She possibly picked up an infection while we were in the swamps.
She turns her head and kind of as she turns, a shaft of sunlight is hitting her eyes. And she wakes up.
Hi, Vaphos.
Sorry. You seem to be having some difficulty waking up.
Oh, no, I was just trying to contact the dream snake. You know, the one that I'm supposed to talk to help free the Great Bard.
Oh, right. Yes. I suppose that makes sense. Any luck?
No, he's surprisingly difficult to find. I keep going back to this same place in my dreams and trying to find him, but so far every path I've explored leads to a dead end.
I see. Well, if it's in a dream, perhaps he's not on one of the more obvious paths. I mean, dreams tend to be strange that way.
That's a possibility. I'll have to try one of the stranger paths next time.
Okay, sorry. I'll leave you alone to get ready.
I'll get up and get dressed and have breakfast with everybody else, I guess.
Okay. Okay. You guys are up in the mountains. What direction do you want to go? I should update the calendar again. It is now the 12th of Zhurk.
Well, Akiri, where should we go from here?
We just need one more day of north, and then we can go northwest. We'll be there. So, north it is.
Okay. Well, as you are in these forested mountains, visibility, and there's mountains in basically all directions except to the south. Visibility is, odd and limited in the mountains, especially when there's thick forest. In the direction you are traveling, the forest will gradually clear, but the mountains get bigger. And it gets rockier. So visibility is more limited than when you were in the lowlands in a lot of ways. How are you going to try to navigate these mountains with trees? I will say that the going here is actually somewhat better for the horses certainly better than the swamp. Way better than the swamp. But there's also old tracks and roads that crisscross the area here. And there are actually different qualities of roads depending on which ancient empire of the Wildlands built them. Because this region had several roads built on it over the centuries. So when the horses are on a reasonably decent old road, they actually get along quite happily. And you could even offload some of your packs to them. So with all of that in mind, it's a fresh day, a sacrifice day of Zhurk. Who wants to jump in first to help you guys travel safely? Man, this is prime Wildlands content. Just travel checks for 2 hours. I love it. I don't know. I hope you guys are having as much fun with it as I am.
Yeah, this is fun.
Just so you know, you just missed out on a strange goblin encounter in the swamps and a massive giant encounter.
Heck yeah.
It was real close. I'm close
okay
there.
With this.
Yeah.
You beat some of those travel checks by one, so. All right, guys. So who wants to jump in? I know this is testing your creativity.
Well, with so many days of straight travel, and a lot of it probably going up and down a number of hills as the elevation changes, I think I'm going to really just kind of dig in and make everyone else's travel a little easier, take a few extra luggage loads on my own back.
Not giving them to the horses?
Well, I mean, I imagine the horses can't carry everything.
No, indeed. Okay.
Oh.
All right. So you're gonna take on some extra weight as people's muscles, their calf and thigh muscles, get used to climbing mountains again. Go for it, Bref. So I assume this is some kind of strength-based check that you're angling for.
Yeah, this is why you don't skip leg day.
Yeah. You've been trudging through the swamp, which exercises
Never
a
mind.
totally different
Apparently I
muscle.
skipped leg day.
You skipped
Would
leg
this count
day.
as athletics to add your proficiency bonus to that?
You can totally use athletics here.
Oh, okay. Doesn't matter.
Ouch. All right, I think the dice have spoken. So Bref is like, yeah, he's like, everyone take it easy, and he takes on a lot of the weight. The horses are, taking it easy and recovering from their swamp experience as well. But as the hours pass, Bref starts sweating and panting. And before you know it, he's out of sight on every mountain path turn. And before you know it, he's lagging way behind, and then you have to stop and wait for him. And he's panting, and he comes up, and he's trying to do this, so he's insisting for a while.
I'm fine. I'm good. I'm fine.
Exactly. So that is, unfortunately, a fail. You still get 6 temp HP for you, Bref, though. Nice role playing there. Okay. Who else wants to jump in?
I think
Go for
Vapos
it.
will jump in, and I think he's going to focus less on the path in front of everybody and focus more on everybody themselves, because, as has been mentioned, this has been a pretty grueling journey. And so I think he's going to be just kind of paying a little bit more attention to each or everybody else's individual needs, and just trying to subtly help them out in whatever ways seem appropriate to Vapos, just to help them get through what's getting close to the last leg of this journey.
So what kind of check are you angling for?
I'm kind of angling for insight, just paying attention to each person and what it seems like they're really needing, and kind of what support Vapos can provide for them.
I guess that's a pretty Vapos thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll let insight work for that. He's just on the alert to help his friends. I'm gonna make
That's
the
a 24.
background sound louder. A 24. Oh, nice. A resounding success. Roll a D100 for me.
There you go.
What did you get?
Sorry, a 31.
Thank you. Okay. You are going to see. So you are going to, as you're helping everyone, they are able to take on greater challenges. And so when everyone comes to a pathway that's like, well, we can go down in between into this valley, which is a much easier road because our legs are killing us. And we're getting blisters. Or we can go over the ridge, which is, likelier to take us to a better walking spot. Normally, people would have chosen the easier downward path for a while to rest their legs, but you are being so encouraging and just so helpful. People feel supported enough and find that bit of extra energy to go over the ridge. And when you do, you guys have a valley open up below you. On the one side, you can see that if you had taken a downward path, you would have gotten stuck and had to backtrack from the roughness of the mountainside on the other side. And the pathway that you're going, the valley kind of smooths out and becomes a less difficult to negotiate. And there's actually a road. There's actually a road that you got and the horses will be glad to follow. And there's also a view. And you guys can see this. You guys can see up in the mountains to the northwest is a plateau. A vast plateau with a tree on it. And there's this glowing light that seems to suffuse that region. There's a particular mountain with this plateau, right? And the sun seems to set that mountain alight. In the middle of that plateau is a gigantic tree. This thing is... This is a tree the size of a small mountain itself. I mean, it's on a much bigger mountain, but like this tree is enormous. Your characters would think, a modern human would say, oh, it's the size of a skyscraper. And the sunlight seems to kind of get into the bark and the branches of this enormous tree and set it glowing as well.
Well, that's crazy.
Wow.
It's an amazing view.
Vapos just got 3 temp HP. Who else wants to jump in?
Here you will.
Okay.
Sorry. All right. Akiri is going to.
Can we go like 5 minutes over, guys?
Yeah.
5 minutes extra.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Um.
I just want to wrap this up.
Then yeah, Akiri is going to once again scout ahead and just try to find the best way through the mountain passes and the ravines and stuff that will make it easiest for the group and the horses to traverse through.
All right, find the easiest path. Go for it.
And we'll go survival again.
What'd you get? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I clicked it. And I think it's thinking.
Oh, okay. Roll20 is like, I've been behaving all night.
Yeah, there's gonna double.
I'm gonna have to stumble
so
now.
There we go.
What'd you get? I don't see it. There it is. Oh, you rolled twice.
Yeah.
Okay. 26. A very, very, very good roll. Akiri,
Not as good as the second one, but it's fine.
not only is that a success, but as you fly and turn, you're gonna feel that glow. Shining, reflected light upon you. It's not a harsh sunlight. really. Although it is very bright. But it's a warm glow, and it makes you feel good. It makes you feel comforted somehow. Go ahead and make a history check. As the sun bakes that plain. Bakes that plateau.
16.
You remember something about this place. It's definitely in one of the old Swordwing stories. It's hard to remember, but you think...
You know what? Oh, keep going.
Oh, were you going to speak?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Akiri was gonna, like, actually go back to the group and mention it to Bella and be like, hey! And, like, collaborate.
Do it.
Stop, collaborate, and listen.
Do it.
Do it to who? Hold on, wait.
Well, Bella, are you gonna... You hear her?
Yeah, totally. I was actually going to make a knowledge history check on my turn.
Well, there you go.
So,
okay, so...
Can I give her advantage?
All right.
Because I mentioned that it probably had something to do with Sword Wings.
I actually have a better house rule, which is that the lower rolls can contribute to the highest roll whenever you collaborate. So for every 10 that you get, you'll add +1 to the higher roll. To the highest roll of the collaborators. But Akiri, you will have different knowledge than Bella, actually. But Bella may be able to
alright,
help
I
you.
got a 23, or with Akiri's bonus, a 24.
There you go. So you guys talk it over, and you go, oh yeah, the plateau and the big sun-baked plain, and I remember something about a cave, and something about heroes. There's all these different legends that relate to this. So, Bella.
Nice.
We'll do Akiri first. So Akiri, you recall there is a story of the Swordwings, the story of the Dayslayer and the Nightslayer, the twin swords that Deisio sought, and the tale of the thief and how they confronted one another on this plateau, been perhaps amongst the branches of that tree or something like that. And Deisio ended up with one of the swords and not the other.
Right.
Which was in fact Sezig Lagaduk's mission. His quest.
Yeah.
Bella, you help her remember that. And you realize what you never did before, that this is also the Mountain of Eternal Sun, mentioned as a place of pilgrimage in your father's most famous play.
Oh, interesting.
Confinement of the Light.
Well, I'll share that information.
They say the Mountain of the Eternal Sun is always lit. And always as bright as daylight.
Fascinating.
And there are all kinds of myths and legends, and some of them possibly even true, about the benefits of making a pilgrimage to this place. and that tree on the plain. Not everyone goes up in the tree. But it's definitely supposed to be a deeply meaningful and transformative experience.
Well, I'll communicate all that to everybody and say, I don't know if we have time to hit it right now, but we might want to hit it on the way back.
Well, we have time.
All right, let's do it.
Cool.
Are you changing
Let's make
direction?
a pilgrimage to the mountain of the eternal sun.
Are you guys changing direction? You were almost. It's definitely late afternoon at this point. You've been traveling straight north all day, but you just had this conversation. You are.
Yeah.
Sounds like we are.
Okay. You wouldn't be able to make it to the mountain this self-same day.
That's fine. We have like a week before the meeting happens. So
Right. So this is it's gonna kind of slow you down. Is it to change direction here, right? Is that clear?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. But you travel a ways more. You leave behind the kind of forested Cloud Summit peaks, and you begin to sense that you might be in a different mountain range now. The mountains are taller in general and more jagged, and there are fewer trees as you go. It's a little bit more sun-baked, as you might have surmised, and rockier. When night falls and you make your camp, the Mountain of Eternal Sun remains lit up in this glorious aquamarine, kind of bluish greenish light emanating from the giant tree the size of a castle, the size of a mighty fortress, or bigger, several of them stacked on top of one another. It sheds this greenish bluish light that rivals the light of the Lost One up above. And it keeps that mountain lit up off in the distance as this kind of glorious beacon. Will you guys light a fire this evening?
I don't know.
You are here in the Rocky Mountains. They're not the Rocky Mountains. That's an actual mountain range. You're here in these kind of jagged mountains. You definitely sense that it's still a dangerous region. But and you occasionally see eyes amongst the rocks reflecting the light of the Mountain of Eternal Sun. But you haven't gotten hit dice regen in a while. But it's up to you. Oh, I still need one more check, don't I? I'm sorry. I need one more success, don't I? Yeah.
Oh, did my knowledge history not count for a success there?
Yes, it did, because you got onto an old pilgrimage path. That's right. I just didn't actually narrate that. But you definitely have recall some maps. Okay. So yes, you have traveled safely. So I guess my last question was, do you light a fire or not?
Yeah, it should be.
I mean, if there's a chance
You
that we'll
could
get
have
into a
way.
fight tomorrow, it would definitely be helpful.
Let's do it.
You light a fire and you finally feel like you're starting to dry the stench. I mean, you know, Vapos dried you guys off with his magic, but you're finally like losing the stench of the swamp, and it's just, you know, your aching muscles. Oh man, they're so sore, and your feet are blistering. You finally feel a little, you know, just having the fire makes you feel better as the warmth sinks into your muscles. However, something is going to happen during the night, and we will resolve that next time on the Wildlands campaign. Thank you all so much for playing, for staying up extra time. I really appreciate it. I really wanted to get to that point. Very cool. Very, very cool. And yes, this is happening because you lit a fire. Sorry.
It's fine.
That's how the dice fell.
Yep.
Thank you so much for hanging out, Taladar, in chat, and as always for subscribing. Thank you to anyone else who's watching right now. You are super cool, and we love you. Thank you to anyone who watches this later. We love you as well. Really glad that this is content worth watching and a story worth following. Thank you so much to Jeremy, player of Bref the Barbarian, who just leveled up. What are you, level 11, 12 now?
I am level 12.
Level 12. My God, you guys have a 12th level barbarian with you. Thank you to M, player of Akiri the Cleric, who left her brother behind and has been bravely scouting on her own. Thank you to Kirsten, player of Bella, who did some amazing history checks and performance checks this session, and whose father's play features the Mountain of Eternal Sun. Thank you especially to Kirsten for taking care of our daughter tonight. Thank you to Corey, player of Vapos the Monk, who got into Vapos is always getting into these situations with people where he feels so awkward and guilty, and the role playing was off the chain tonight.
It's a never-ending conundrum for him.
We are closing this up. I will just say you guys got 100 XP per level. 1, 2, 3 times. Because you traveled 3 hexes through dangerous territory and explored them with, you know, new hexes to you that you've never done before. So congratulations on that. That's quite a chunk of experience points for this campaign. You also all got 50 XP per level for the awesome role playing. So thank you for that. So, okay guys, I won't keep you any longer. Thank you. Good night. Until next time, good night everybody. Bye-bye.
Night.
Good night, everyone.